Hello YouTube friends, welcome to my colourful world where at the moment my every waking moment is obsessed with these letters that I'm making for the piece I'm making for the Baltic Centre for Contemporary Arts in Gateshead. This is a project I'm doing with Adam, who is Martha's partner and the daddy of my grandchildren. And he has a workshop in the Baltic. He works out of the Baltic. And if you saw the last video, you'll have met Adam and Debbie, his business partner, where we were talking all about how this project has evolved. And it really has evolved. It started out as being possibly an alphabet, an fabric alphabet. But then it became apparent that because there are a lot of alphabets in the exhibition that they're doing already, they asked if I would make a phrase, and the obvious one is get out of your head and into your hands. So there's the your, and there's the and on the table here is out of. And today what I'm doing is working on the finish. I've sewn them all together in strips, in words, and now I'm going to sew them together in the order of the phrase. But before I do that, I need to concentrate on the bit. Now, in printing, if you were doing paper printing, this bit here is called furniture. The bit that packs out the end of the row of letters is called furniture. And so we've decided to call this fabric furniture. And it's the thing that makes the lines long enough, the right length, and they're all going to be slightly different. So for instance, yesterday I was doing this one, which is just a little thin bit here, and I'm just sewing together all the blacks and greys that I've used for the backgrounds of the letters. And this bit is quite scrunched up in the middle of the phrase, so it needs two long bits of furniture, fabric furniture. I'm liking that idea very much. And so I'm kind of working now towards sewing them all together in their rows, and that's what I'm going to do with you here today. But also Adam was here on Sunday, and it was really good to meet with him and have a think about how this is progressing. It's his exhibition and he's got to like it and want to hang it. And one of the things we decided was, oh, she's sitting on it, so I probably can't show you. But there was one of the letters. I'm just going to move you slightly, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. She was looking so sweet sitting there, wasn't she? Oh, and now she's knocked the camera. Of course she has, because the show's all about you, really. So, one of the letters we both decided wasn't contrasting enough with the background. For this one, I chose a pale background anyway. Please don't knock the camera again, Kat. But also this sort of purpley colour, which I like, but it doesn't really contrast as well as some of the other letters. But that was okay because I made another O. But what that allowed us to do then was have a little play with this one, and I could show Adam, who's not a quilter, he doesn't really know about quilting so much, and I could show him some quilt stitches that I had in mind. So I put a bit of backing on, a bit of spare wadding, and I was showing him some of the quilt stitches that we might decide to do. But just two really, but we've made a decision. So when I get to that part, I'll be showing you that part. Today though, I have to make a bit more fabric furniture for some of these long rows, just so that it's the same width. And then what I'm doing, let's show you in the out of. Here we go. So this is out of. This is the only row that's got two words on it, and I'm finding the exact middle, and I'm putting a pin in where the exact middle is, because there was a lot of things we thought we could stack the words up on top of one another in that kind of centered way, or we could stick them all at one end or the other end, like left and right justification. And we decided, all of us decided, that we would centre it. So that is the centre of that row there, with that pin in, and I'm lining the centres up so that when I sew this together, they'll all be stacked on top of one another properly. And so this end has got its, this doesn't need much because it's the longest letters row. So I'm going to put another little strip here. And then I've got an idea about how we're going to do the edges. There was a lot of conversation about how we should finish it, you know, so that the idea is that we could just have it with this sort of black grey sort of stuff here and end it there and have it quite stark and then face it so that you would just have that as the ending. Or the thing that I'm going to do, and I'll show you what I'm going to do when I get to that bit later on in this video. But for now, I've got quite a day ahead of me getting this to the point where it's ready to be hand quilted. So I'm going to do that now. And what that means is I'm going to sew the last few bits of this fabric together and make more of the squaring up with the fabric furniture. So I'm going to do that now. I'm almost there actually. Just need a little slip on this end here. And the way that I'm doing it, I think if anyone's been here long enough, you'll know that I'm not a very good measurer. I don't measure. I'm not very good at maths. However, this one had to be quite precise. And so I actually have done the letters in quite a precise way. And I think we talked about that in the last video, and I'll leave a link in the description below for you to have a look at those past videos. My life has been overtaken with this project and the end is in sight, and so I think that this will be I don't know, maybe it'll be the last video about the Baltic blocks, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to get on now and do the placing then of these rows so that you can see what's going on. There it is. Oh, it's a bit sunny coming in there, but it's a really sunny day. I've had to draw the curtains. There it is though. And you can see that I've got more of this grey edgy thing. And so what I think I might do today is sew them all together and then trim those down. Is there any more edge to do? Yeah, I want to put a little bit on the end of that out of there. And then I'm thinking that maybe there could be a little block on the top and the bottom of these blocky bits of black and grey. I'll see when I've sewn it all together whether that's a thing. But next job then is to check that all the edges go as far as I need them to. I've got the middle spots pinned there so I can pin them together really well. and then sew them together. They're going to be quite tight like they are here. There's not going to be much gap in between them. So I'm going to sew them together now and see how we get on with that. I like how it looks though. We had a big struggle with the S, and when Adam came on Sunday, he and his business partner Debbie, drafted an S for me, and I think you'll agree that the S looks okay. I was quite pleased with how that worked out. It's the one letter I was really struggling with. The rest of them were quite easy to draft, but that one was giving me headaches. Okay, that's the next job then, to check that I've got enough of the grey on each side, and then work out how to sew it together in one long bit, trim them all down, then decide if I'm going to put a top and a bottom narrow bit of grey, and then I'll show you what I'm doing with the edges. Okay, this is where I've got to now. I've sewn all the rows together with their bits of furniture, let's call them, but I didn't measure them very carefully. So the blue line up the middle is a piece of tape that shows the absolute middle, and what I'm going to do now is measure out from that middle exactly and mark where the edges should be and trim them down, something like that. But then I am going to put some blocks of this grey, this stuff, top and bottom. No tails in the camera. We've talked about this many times. So that's what I'm going to do now. And so I'm going to measure then from here, and so like there, it's not quite long enough. I'll put a little bit more on. I think if I was someone who measured more and planned more, I'd have got this right, but I'm not that person. So I'm going to do that then, measure. I'll put another couple of lines of the blue tape either side so that we get the exact sizes, and then I'll fill in the bits that are short and trim down the bits that are long. Then I'm going to do the bottom and the top. I'm going to do that now. I like it though. I'm liking how it looks. It's a beautiful day today, and I've got the curtains closed so the sun doesn't come streaming in. But I've got to get on with this. I have a plan. So let's keep going. So it's going to be 30 inches, I think, either side. Yeah, I'll put the blue tape up now. I'm doing the tops and bottoms now, and this just arrived from the quilt shop. I only ordered this maybe, I don't know, 2 days ago. This is going to make all the difference in the world, because the thread that we chose to use for this quilting is this one. This is Aurifil stranded cotton in this beautiful dark grey colour, and I had a little bit of it. Well, now I've got a lot more. I've probably got more than enough to finish this project. So I just want to say thank you so much to the quilt shop for rushing this one. I asked them to rush it to me because I'm going to need this tomorrow. Thanks, I've got it now. I feel very relieved. Anyway, I've done the sides, I'm making the tops and bottoms, and then I'm going to start making the edges. So I'll get back to you when I'm doing that. Well, it's ages later now, ages. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I thought I'd be finished with this well before now. I finished the outside doing all these little bits here, and then my idea is that we should take some of these beautiful, I'll just let the cat in. She's just been outside. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful, and she's just been outside. She very rarely goes outside. So this section here is about 11 inches, and so I've made pieces here that are just a bit taller, bigger than 11 inches, and the idea will be that there will be a coloured border all the way around the outside. Now I've made these longer than they need to be. Let's get an orange one here. Let's get rid of these so you can see the impact of it. So I worked out that I need 28 of these to go all the way around the outside. And so the idea is then that I will sew these randomly around the edge. Made them way longer than I need to. Let's see that then. Okay, so you can see, can't you, that I've got a colourful border here, but it will only be half the size because this is the binding. So really, let's take one of those out. It's going to be more like that. Let's pin it up and see what it looks like. There we go. Another pin. It's going to be that kind of size, quite a thin border, but with all the colours from the letters in blocks all the way around the outside. That's been the plan. Now, it might be that I just sew them together and don't try to match them up. I might do that because it's going to be tricky when I get to the corners, isn't it? When I do the mitered corner, I'll need a longer bit. Anyway, I'm quite tired now because I thought this would be quite a quick process, but I've had to make a lot of this fabric. I love making this fabric out of all my scraps. And I really, if you think about it, I really have made life quite hard for myself. You know, I could have used solid colours. I could have used solid colours here. All of this could have been solid colours rather than me trying to use all my scraps. And I'm tired now. But what I'm going to do now is sew all of these together quite randomly, which will then be the binding for this quilt. And I like it. I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with how it's turned out. And I think that something like this, it's worth putting forth effort, don't you think? It's worth making an effort. I'm tired now though. So the next thing then is to lay out the quilt sandwich and pin all of that out, and then do the quilting, put the binding on. I always like to make the binding at the same time as I make the quilt, but this has been quite a complicated binding. And then I need a hanging sleeve, top and bottom, because it's going to have a button at the top, one at the bottom to keep it against the wall, which will make it nice and square, which will be good. Binding. It's taken me hours to do that. I'm quite tired now. So I'm just going to spend a while pinning all of this out and trim this extra little bit off at the side. And then comes the hand quilting, which I've been really looking forward to doing. I don't need to do it here. I can hand quilt anywhere. And so let's relocate. So I've relocated to this little Airbnb up the Northumberland coast. I'm in a little village called Sea Houses, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a bit more built up than I'm used to. It's not at all like the last homely house. It's quite busy outside. There's a road just here and a bit of a building site going on over there, but I'm very near the sea. I'm right next to the sea. And yesterday I took a boat trip to the Farne Islands, which was just beautiful to see all the seabirds and the seals and the islands. And then the day before that, I took a drive up the coast and had a look at Bamborough Castle and looked at all the lovely tourist things. So I'm working on this quilt, but I'm taking breaks in between times. And the breaks mean little trips to the sea. So, but the quilting's going really well. I'm quilting a grid on here 5 inches apart. So, and in fact, as I'm talking to you now, I've done all of the grid lines except this last one. I'm on the last one here. So I've been here 3 days, so that's not a superhuman effort really. And I have had some lovely kind of breaks in between time. I've really enjoyed them. So quilting this then, let's get this new piece started. I'm quilting it with 3 strands of this beautiful Aurifil stranded cotton, and I'm marking up the 5-inch intervals, and then let's find my needle. I'm waxing the thread with my beeswax that I brought with me, and then I'm just stitching. I need my glasses on to do this properly. I'm just stitching along here in this grid pattern, and like I say, this is the last run of quilt lines. When I get to the end of this one, I did all the crossways ones the first day I got here, and then half of the long ways ones yesterday, and then this morning I got up really early, about 5:30, and I've been stitching all that time, which means that once I've done this, I may go out again and have a little walk along the beach or whatever. So I think that part of it's working really quite well. I brought this table with me, which is a folding table from home, so that I knew that I would have this nice big surface to work on. And the way that I'm marking out the lines, I've got my chalk pencil here and 2 rulers, and I wonder if you're going to be able to see on here. So this is my previous line here, and I line up that line of stitching with the 5-inch mark so that it's absolutely square, and I can actually check because that's on the 10-inch mark there. And then with this ruler, I'm putting that underneath along the bottom of it like that, move that one out of the way, and then mark my chalk line. It's working really well. So I'm going to finish this part of it now, maybe go out for a little blow along the beach. And when I get back, excuse me for leaning in, I've got the fabric for the border, and I haven't quite worked out yet how I'm going to do this. This is 2.5 inches, and if I fold it in half and stitch it on like a traditional binding would be, fold it in half like that, then stitch it on and fold it back, it's actually going to be really narrow, and I think that might be a bit too narrow for the scale of this. So I haven't quite worked out yet how I'm going to do the binding, but it's all made and it's here. And I have an ambition, I'm going back home tomorrow, I have an ambition to try and get as far as binding this quilt. I have to make 2 hanging sleeves, I've got the fabric for those here as well. And so I'd really like to take home a finish and then pop it in my washing machine when I get home. But for now, look at where I was yesterday. It was just well, I'm on the very last bit of stitching the binding down now on this quilt. It's got a lovely scrappy colourful binding, quite a narrow one, and when I get to this bit here I'll have done the whole thing. It's got a hanging sleeve top and bottom and a lot of threads and chalk marks for the guidelines I did for the chalk. And so as soon as I get to this last run here, it's going to go in the washing machine for a little wash. And I think then we'll call that finished. And I'll take it to Adam and he can hang it in the Baltic. It's been quite an epic quilt, this one. Bigger than anything I've ever done, really. I mean, I've done big quilts. Jan and Jane's quilt that I'm doing at the moment is big. I'm not making that on my own, of course, but that one's massive. This one has been an absolute joy from start to finish, to be invited to do it in the first place, and then to put all of this thought and effort into getting it to this stage. I love the scrappy letters, I really do. In fact, I was looking at my scraps boxes, they're just over there, and wondering what will be the next scrappy thing that I'll make, because I really do enjoy doing it, and I'm definitely not going to run out of them anytime soon. So this then is the next stage in this quilt. I can't wait to see it hanging in its final place. So we've spent a bit of time, Anna's here helping me, and we've been getting all the last bits of threads and bits and pieces of lint and things off this quilt. And I was going to put it in a big plastic bag to transport it, but instead I've made a little bespoke bag. It didn't take 5 minutes to make, and I think it looks a bit nicer to hand it over in this. So it'll fit in here nicely now. I'm taking it to Adam this afternoon. And so the next time you see this quilt, hopefully it'll be hanging in the Baltic. So there it is, a nice big deep bag that I can transport it with. And I think I'll pop that in so that Adam can get any stray threads. Where do all those threads come from? Pop that in there. There it is. This has been part of my life for so long now. I'm really going to miss it on the board and on my machine and in the cabin. I'm going to miss it, but I'm so pleased that it's finally going to its resting place in the Baltic. I'll take it now before she sleeps on it.